Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined today. I have a wonderful helper with me today who's on my Stampin' Up team, my Create with Kelley crew team. And her name is Eileen Cowart, and she is not going to be on camera today, but she is going to be very helpful behind the scenes. So I'm thrilled to have her. So you may hear somebody speak up and let me know things that I've forgotten or give me some tips as we go along. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. I would love it if you would let me know who you are and where you're from in the comments. I will be live on Facebook and live on YouTube. Couldn't think there for a minute. And you can also watch the replays. But either way you're watching, you're welcome. I'm thrilled that you're here. And thanks for supporting my little bitty channel. I appreciate you. Okay, we're going to work on some cards that I actually did for a class in July. Yes, July of this year. And I'm just now doing the videos. So I'm a little behind on all that. I got excited about the next week and the next week. But this one is beautiful. It's called the Peaceful Garden Suite from Stampin' Up. And it has 10 cards in the collection that I designed for the class. And I do have a PDF available. And you can sign up for that on the Google form that should be linked in the description below. Or you can earn a free PDF when you order $40 worth of Stampin' Up products with me this between November 1st and November 15th. If you place a $50 order, you are eligible for that PDF. So you can just check that box on the Google Forms and I will email that out to you. So we're going to start with card number 1, and then we're going to take a little bit of break in between each one and each card and try to just go one after another as long as we can go. And I will get going here. The main suite that we are using, I'm going to switch the camera over here so make myself small. If we can get it going. My mouse is being cranky today. Okay, this is, like I said, from the Peaceful Garden Suite, which is beautiful for Christmas and any kind of a holiday card, a winter card, sympathy cards, wedding cards. I think it would make really pretty thinking of you cards. So lots of flexibility there with this suite. And it does have a stamp set called Peace on Earth. It has dies in the bundle and the designer series paper with the doves. It's mostly centered around Misty Moonlight, Secret Sea, a little bit of Night of Navy in there, but it is beautiful. And I know I don't have those embellishments in here, but I'll get those for another card. Embellishments and ribbon also in this suite. Would love to help you. If you don't have these products and you fall in love with them today, I will be glad to help you with your order. Just holler. You can contact me. I should have all the contact info there. You can find it on my blog at createwithkelley.com or find me at Stampin' Up, kelleypits.stampinup.net would be an easy way. Okay, we're starting off with a card base. It looks like we've got 2 card bases even here. We don't need the second one. And this is cloud cover, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm already missing my bone folder here. What did I do with that? I have to have a bone folder, Eileen. Thought I had everything. Of course, we had a lot going on here. Okay. Now we have a bone folder. We're all set. Thank you, madam. And we're going to, why don't we start with the inside so we kind of get going with our blending brushes. And I'm going to get a scrap piece of paper and we're going to use that to do our blending on. And we're kind of going to do some blending on the inside of the card as well as on the outside. So I think we're going to use cloud cover ink, which the cloud cover ink is one of the new ink colors for this year. And the ink just was not as perfect on our pad. It was reacting to our normal pad. So we're going to use the little bitty mini pad that I've taken the refill and inked up our little mini Stampin' Spot that's kind of like a small Stampin' Pad. It's just a different texture. It's more of a linen texture, and the other pads are foam. So I guess really don't have to be doing that on the bottom there. I don't know what I've got on this paper. Something's going on here in the middle. It'll be okay, I think. Probably ran into a rough spot. So I want that to be soft. It's kind of a really soft look on the front. So that's what we're kind of going with here. Okay, now that's our inside. Y'all help me remember that. Now we're going to wait a minute, I guess, and I think we're going to cut these first, and then I may do a little bit on the front ones too. All right. So when you're thinking about placing your pieces of DSP and the white little snowbanks here on the card that you can see, this is the piece of the designer series paper, one side of it. It's really hard to cover up that. There's my little star. I would have lost that. I'm glad I turned that over. That paper is really pretty, but we are using it on another card. We're not using it on this one. We can go ahead and glue this down because we don't have a layer on it. We don't have anything we're going to ruin by starting by gluing it first. We don't have anything going around it. So you always have to check and see. Make sure you're layering your pieces properly if you've got anything on the bottom layer. And then if you don't, you can go ahead and add the second layer. So that's what we're doing. Looks like I had this on a card and with dimensionals at one time, pulled those off, and should have my little silicone mat here, but I don't have it at the moment in front of me. There we go. We'll switch over to that. Now, it's not as pretty on the screen. Be sure and let me know when you come in if you'd like to see comments. If you'd like to make a comment, I would like to see comments. That's what I meant. Okay, we're going to just figure out. No, I do have to have that. I cut the basic white piece to 4 1/4 by 5. No, I cut that to 4 by 5 1/4. So a 1/4 inch difference in the front of the card base. And then what we want to do is we're just going to cut a little snowbank, kind of like this. I know this scares some of you to freehand something, but it's pretty easy. All you've got to figure out is kind of where you want your greeting, which we want. This is going to be on the top layer, so we're not going to glue it yet. We're going to work with this, and we're going to put that where it'll scoot down there. Now I know I want to stamp my greeting here, and I want a little snowbank to come up probably about like that. So I'm just going to say I'm going from here to about here. Okay, so I'm just picturing that in my mind, how I want that to be. This is going to slope down and kind of come up here. And guess what? It is only paper. So if I didn't guess accurately, then we can change it. Easy peasy. Okay, now we're going to see if we've left room for our piece on Earth that we're going to stamp in Secret C. And that's from the Piece on Earth stamp set. And we're going to be sure and stamp this on our mat because we need some cushion on the photopolymer stamps. They need a little cushion. So we're going to go up towards the top here on that. Oops, I should have practiced on my little piece of paper first. Didn't quite get that dark enough. But that was about right. So I can slope that down a little more if I want to. I could even flip it over, try it on the back if I want to. Nope, it's going to be that way. Okay. I'm going to try it again. We're going to get one about like this. May have to get some more white, but I think I have plenty. Okay, see? That wasn't anything crazy, was it? You just get another little piece of paper if it doesn't work exactly like you want it to. Okay, we're going to stamp this off onto our scratch paper. First, use a little pressure, straight down, straight up. That's better. I think we're going to need to re-ink this before we get to the next card, but it'll work on here. Okay, so we will get that up toward the top. Use a little more pressure than I did last time. Now that's better. Let's see if we've got that far enough down to hide that end. Yep, yep. We're going to come up just a little. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and cut that third layer, which we need to come. I may bring, let's see how much of this I want, because you have to allocate enough room for the dove to be flying over. You want him to kind of dip down. You want this to be low enough for that to happen. Do we need a third layer? Do we want to go down so this one can come up? We're going to go down further and then come way up. And just see if we like that. Because each card is going to be different. It's your individual template. So it doesn't have to come even all the way up behind this. It can, but it doesn't have to. That gives our wonderful little dove a little more room flying over. Isn't that pretty? I think that works. All right, so I'm going to leave this, the other layers on here. This one is going to be glued flat. I think we just used Wink of Stella on top, right, Eileen? Do you remember? I think we did. I don't think we used any cloud cover on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just Wink of Stella.
All right. So we're going to glue this flat. We're just going to leave the others in position. And you can use liquid glue. You can use your tape, stamp and seal if you want. Whatever works for you. Okay, so we're getting that glued down. Now we're going to pop this layer up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I guess I'll put one in the middle. Try to remember exactly where I put these so that we don't double stack on the next layer that's going to be on top of this. Hope y'all are doing well today out there. Everybody have a good weekend. Our friend Eileen here did not have a great weekend, but we'll let her tell that tale if she decides she wants to tell that tale. Whew, goodness. All right, on this one now, we've talked about layering, and I think now that we're kind of auditioning our pieces, we're going to cut that down just a little bit more to have a little bit more of the earth showing, the piece on earth part. Get that a little bit lower. And we can't put this on yet until what is going to happen? We have to think about what's next. And that is, we want ribbon on this layer. So if we're going to have ribbon on that layer, we've got to put it on before we attach it. So we're going to put Stampin' Seal on the back. That's what I usually use to attach ribbon. I really like the way that works. You can just put a bunch on the back and then take your small piece of ribbon. This is a silver twine. It came in a pack with silver and gold twine, not twine, trim, they call it, silver and gold trim, I think. And I think this one is retired already, but I am quite sure if you have been crafting long enough to make a card with this much detail, that I believe that you will have some silver ribbon somewhere of some kind. So any kind of silver would work on this. Probably wouldn't want it really wide, terribly wide. I think this is really a good size, this little size trim. Okay, now just to get this, make sure that stays, I'm going to go ahead and put a Stampin' Dimensional over that ribbon. And one more here at the bottom, and then we'll see. I think I can put one right here too without overlapping this Stampin' Dimensional underneath that layer. And I think we'll be good. And I probably should have used the Wink of Stella first before I put that ribbon on, but it's okay. We can make it work. All right. We've also got this gorgeous little star that is from the same die set, the Peace on Earth die bundle. And I'm going to put that on flat over where one of these stars. These to me look like stars. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to be, but to me they're stars in a dark sky. So that's what we're going with. Now we have a cute little dove that really, this die is so pretty, but it's an intricate die, but it is not difficult to get out of the die. But you can play with it. As you can see here, you can tell that individual feathers can be ruffled. You can give it some depth and dimension that way. And then we're going to add a little Wink of Stella on there. And we're going to add our little smoky slate marker. And our Stampin' markers are going to be gone eventually. So if you don't have any of the markers and you think you might need some, you better get them while they're hot, because they are disappearing. We're going to just draw a little eye right there. Make it really subtle. And that is all we need for that. Now we're going to use our Wink of Stella. Going to see, one of these is just about out. I think it's that one. And hopefully this is in good shape here. Yep. This one is, yeah. I think you could, if anybody's out there listening, let me know if you can hear me, whoever your person, what am I thinking? Please let me know. Make a comment and let me know that you can hear me. Because we should have the microphone on this one is on, and the one on the computer is off. But just to make sure, we would like to hear about it from you. If y'all are tuned in and can hear. Okay, we're going to take some Wink of Stella and just kind of go along the edge there of the snowbank. And I'm going to get a little bit more. Last time I did this, I made a big old mess. I squeezed too hard and got too much out. So we're going to be a little more careful. And then you can, I would recommend if you're going to do this, kind of do it along the lines of how the snow slopes. That's kind of the way I did it. I think that's the way the light would catch it, is based on what's on the top of the hill there. But that's just me. It's your card. You can do it your way. All right, we're going to get our cute little dub done at the same time. And I did the same thing, kind of the same bottom portion of each. You could do bottom or top, just kind of maybe be consistent if you can. This is kind of a small space, so it probably doesn't matter that much. But see how I'm going along the contours of the wing? And then just a little bit on the belly, and then some back here. Maybe a little on his head. How about that? Okay. Now we're going to pop him up with dimensionals. Probably should, I'm going to let that dry just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and add, if you've got any silver rhinestones, you could use those. In this case, I'm using some metallic pearls that we had previously, we had a while back. And they are retired now, but they sure are pretty. And these druzies are still in, and they should be listed in my product list that's on my blog and on my Stampin' Up website, I believe, both. And probably in this, actually in the video. I've got somebody else's little putty tool here that is just about out of putty. Edie, sorry, I picked up your tool here. You must have left it from at class. All right, we're going to do the little druzy and add that on top of that star. Look how much that adds. Is that not gorgeous? Look at that sparkle. Pretty, pretty. Okay, now I'm just going to add, like I said, these metallic pearls are retired, but you could use just regular rhinestones. You could use anything along that silver family. I just really wanted the star to stand out. And you could space these however you want. Now we're going to, our Wink Estella is surely dried, and we will just pop him up. I'm probably going to need, let's see, I'm just going to cut a little of my sides here. I know some people don't use the sides, but I certainly do. I am frugal when it comes to dimensionals. Not with the number of them that I use necessarily, but I am not going to waste all that good stuff on the sides. So that's what I teach people at my classes, is to use all that. That's just as good as the rest of the dimensionals. And just peel the back off of that. See if we have any comments. I'm glad y'all are tuned in and watching. Thank you for that. I'd love to know where you're from and who you are. All I can see is a number. You don't want to be a number, do you? Y'all let me know. Just type it in the comments and say hi and where you're from and what you think of the card so far. All we have to do is stamp on the inside of the card, and then we're going to have our little bow. And I guess I don't, do I have a little bow already tied?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Whoops. So we're going to use a glue dot to attach the little bow. Find them in my little spinner thing here. All right. And I think it's easier when you're working on it, doing an embellishment or using an embellishment, you're trying to attach a glue dot to it. I think it's easier to take the embellishment to the dot and grab it that way and kind of twist it off. And then the glue comes off on the dot instead of on your finger or your thumb and right where you don't want it. So this is kind of a flat looking bow, isn't it? I must have used the bow jig on this one. This is not my usual bow style. Sometimes I like the bow jig a lot, and sometimes I'd rather make them myself to get a little more rounded look. But I think this is going to work okay. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to place that right there on that. Could be there, could be in the middle. Maybe I want it further over this time. I think I'm going to put it over here. Just to show y'all some variety. It is your card. You make it however you want. So if you have one of these kits from me from the class to go, now you have options. If you've waited this long since July to actually make it, waiting for my video, I apologize. Okay, all we have to do is stamp the inside of the card. We're going to use the Jolly Holly stamp set for that. And still stick with the secret C. That's a lot of alliteration there, right? Okay. May the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. Isn't that a nice sentiment? Okay, we've got that. Now we just want to do a couple more little snowbanks. And I'm going to just put a little bit at the bottom. Maybe like that. And then we'll put one that comes up this way. We're going to take that. See how I flipped it over? Because you've already got the curve in the opposite direction that way. And the bottom part doesn't matter. You're just going to stick it behind here. So you just kind of get those the way you want it. Whatever size. And you're starting with the 4 by 5 1/4 size. And then see how it just has a little bit of blending. And then we've got the snowbanks here. And you could add a little Wink Stella if you want. Now we've got those cut. We're just going to glue those on. Use our little silicone mat so I don't make a mess all over. And again, I'm going to leave that one on. Then I'm going to put the glue on this one that is layered behind. Kind of stick that in. Tuck it in where I want it. You don't want to go too high because you want to be able to have room to write a little greeting if you want, a little sentiment. But you could always sign your name on the snowbanks if you want to. There aren't any rules about that. Okay, let's use a little tiny bit of our Wink Stella on here. And we will insert this. And woo! Maybe quite a bit of Wink Stella there. That really squeezed out on me, didn't it? That's some glistening snow there. Now we'll have to put a little bit more back here too. Use your artistic flair to attach that. All right, now we're just going to finish up the inside layer. And we'll be finished with this card already. How about that? Does anybody have any questions or comments about this card? Y'all think that's pretty? See, so each one is going to look quite a bit different just based on how you do your little snowbanks. So thanks again for tuning in. And if you're interested in watching videos that show you how to make even more of the cards in this suite, would love for you to stay tuned. We're just going to take a few minutes and then go ahead and schedule the next one right away. And then you'll get to see card number 2. We've got 10 total. Yay! All right, let me switch the camera over and hold my cards up and say bye. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support of my business and for watching the video. And thanks to Eileen for helping me. It helps a lot. Y'all have a great one. Fun times ahead. Bye-bye.